Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Devin Booker was hoping to end up with Miami Heat ahead of 2015 NBA Draft. Phoenix Suns star Devin Booker has put together a fantastic career in the NBA with the team that picked him 9 years ago, but the Suns evidently weren't the number one team on his wish list leading up to the 2015 NBA Draft. He recently revealed that he was hoping the Miami Heat would draft him and that he was even looking at homes near Miami's arena at one point. "That's where I was hopin', Miami," Booker said of his mindset leading up to the draft. "'Cause Miami was my best workout, and then I remember, I think Pat Riley came into, he did an interview, and he's like, we're looking for a Klay Thompson type player. We need to up our shooting. I just shot 40% in college. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm looking at spots right down there by the arena." The Heat ultimately did have a chance to draft Booker, as he was available when they were on the clock with the number 10 overall pick, but the team instead used the selection on Justice Winslow. A few picks later, the Suns swooped in and selected Booker at number 13 overall. Winslow ended up sticking with the Heat for a few seasons, but he never turned into an elite talent like Booker. Across 241 regular season appearances with Miami, Winslow averaged 9.0 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 2.7 assists per game. The Duke University product last played in the NBA in the 2022-23 season. He spent much of last season in the G League. Booker, meanwhile, earned the 4th All-Star selection and 2nd All-NBA nod of his career last season. He averaged 27.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, and 6.9 assists per game for the Suns. Unfortunately for Phoenix, Booker's production wasn't enough for the squad to win a single playoff game, even though the 27-year-old maintained his high level of play in the postseason. The Suns were swept by the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round, ending a Phoenix season that was expected to last much longer. The Heat also took a quick exit from the 2024 NBA playoffs, but they did manage to win a game before falling to the Boston Celtics in the first round. It may sting for Heat fans to know that a player like Booker wanted to join their team, but what's done is done. If it's any consolation, given the butterfly effect, there are no guarantees that a player like Jimmy Butler would have ended up with the Heat had the team picked Booker in 2015 and built around him. Top 4 Heat options to replace Tyler Harrow in the starting lineup. It's perhaps the biggest debate among Miami Heat fans: should Tyler Harrow go to the bench? Until coach Erik Spoelstra does anything different, it might be a moot argument. Over the last 2 seasons since being inserted into the starting lineup following his 2021-22 Sixth Man of the Year campaign, Harrow has started all but 2 games he's appeared in. But there could be a reason to reevaluate Harrow's position. The Heat are 44-37 over the past 2 seasons in games Harrow has started alongside Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. It's a core that hardly plays with the chemistry expected after spending 5 seasons together. If it hasn't happened yet, it's fair to wonder if that trio will ever gel. Then there's the other part of the equation: if Spoelstra were to make a dramatic change and move Harrow to the bench, who would take his place? Here are the obvious options. Whatever chemistry Harrow lacks with Butler and Adebayo, Robinson has it. But don't take it from me, take it from Udonis Haslem, who told ESPN's First Take that he would move Harrow to the bench and start Robinson. For chemistry, we're better with Duncan Robinson in the starting lineup, making plays, being that trigger, Haslem said. Tyler can come off in that second group, no worry about getting guys involved, just play ball, score, and be who he is. Robinson doesn't need the ball to be impactful. The threat of his quick-trigger shot forces defenders to cover him as he runs around the arc, creating space for Butler and Adebayo to work in the paint. If the Heat were to bench Harrow but want to maintain optimal spacing around their tentpole stars, Robinson is the obvious choice. Miami Heat, Lakers and Warriors want trade for Cameron Jhonson. Miami Heat, Los Angeles Lakers, Golden State Warriors and many others are eyeing a trade for Brooklyn Nets' Cameron Jhonson. Several sources have pointed to great market interest in the 28-year-old player. At a low point in the reconstruction of the New York franchise, he would represent a step forward for some teams that are thinking about going further next season. According to Brian Lewis, journalist for the New York Post, two other teams are watching Cameron Jhonson more intensely: Sacramento Kings and Orlando Magic. Meanwhile, the Toronto Raptors are running on the outside. Jhonson was part of the Kevin Durant trade to the Phoenix Suns, being sent along with Mikal Bridges to the Nets. After a strong end to the 2022-23 season, he received a 4-year, $94.5 million extension. In fact, it was prevention. After all, the Detroit Pistons were one of the main teams looking to obtain the athlete at that time. Cameron Jhonson is in the second year of his contract with the team and will receive $23.6 million in 2024-25. Brooklyn has been trying to trade the player since trading Mikal Bridges to the New York Knicks. The attempts, according to various rumors, also involve other names such as Ben Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith, Dennis Schroeder and Bojan Bogdanovic. So the Nets are looking for teams interested in their veterans, and teams are applying for the possibility of getting Jhonson more than any other of these athletes in return. The information is from Brett Siegel, from the Clutch Points portal. Siegel, however, does not name the Warriors and Magic among those interested in Jhonson. Its list, which also has 6 teams, has Lakers, Miami Heat, Kings, Raptors, and the Houston Rockets and Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland issue is important for a reason. Brooklyn is also watching the status of defensive specialist wing Isaac Okoro. So a trade for Jhonson could happen. The young man is still free on the market as a restricted free agent. A sign-and-trade scenario, which became even more common this offseason with the new CBA, could take Okoro to the Nets and Jhonson to the Cavaliers, depending on the value agreed with the free agent for the exchange. Cameron Jhonson was one of those who fell the most compared to last year. After playing in the World Cup with the USA, his production in 2023-24 was not so good. The wing averaged 13.4 points, 4.3 rebounds, and 2.4 assists in 27.6 minutes per game. Still, he had 39.1% on the triple ball. A competent spacer that keeps the market's attention. Among teams that want to compete like the Lakers, Magic, Warriors, Cavaliers, and Kings, as well as others that want to take a step forward in their reconstructions like the Spurs and Rockets, a trade for Cameron Jhonson is hot on the NBA market. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Cameron Jhonson? Leave your opinion in the comments.